Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and for being here today. I just want to start off this video by saying Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween everyone! This is being uploaded on Halloween. I got the ghosty earrings to celebrate. So for today's video, I am going to be talking about something that I think this might be one of the most requested videos I've seen over the course of like my social media presence. People have asked me to talk about this for years, and I'm here to talk about it today. I said, why the fuck not? Why not? If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen recently I posted that I just passed 5 years of weight loss maintenance. I'm so excited to have reached this milestone. I'm so excited to be here today, 5 years later, still, you know, kicking it at the same weight, still showing up on the YouTube. Here's little Leo. Say Happy Halloween, Leo. Does your dog ever just like look into your eyes? All right guys, but before we jump into the video, which as you know, well, let me just, the script, yeah, buckle up. But before we get into the video, I did want to let you guys know that the 2022 wellness planners are now available. So if you guys did not know, I launched a business last year and I launched with wellness planners. So this is last year's wellness planner. This is the first one I ever made. And it was basically a planner, a regular planner, but also with like areas to fill out your exercise, your food, your groceries, your habits, all that type of stuff. I've been obsessed with stationery my whole life, my entire life. So I've always loved stuff like this, but I am excited to share that we have 3 planners this year, and I'm not going to go on too much about this because all of the details are going to be on the website if you guys want to check it out. But we do have 3 designs this year, and I am just... We have 3. The first is the Pastel Witch. So this is the Pastel Witch planner. This was illustrated by Adisa Codner. Killed it. Unbelievably beautiful. When I think about this one, I think of like cottagecore witchcraft, if that makes sense. Just comparing it to last year's planner, you might be able to notice that this year they are a bit bigger and they're better. So I don't know if you guys can tell, they just have like upgraded coil binding. It's just better stuff. I was able to take a lot of the revenue from this and invest in like a better planner. So this year's we have pockets, we have stickers. Pastel Witch is the silver planner. So we have the silver accents here, the silver year, and then I went with the black strap. So that's Pastel Witch. All right, so next is Neon Bloom. So this one was created by Daniela Danny. She is a recently graduated art student. She is amazing. I am very excited and proud of her for this because it is one of the first big projects she's done. So this planner has rose gold accents. I don't know if you guys can see. We have the rose gold here, the strap, and the year. Oh my gosh, and like honest to God, like it's just so pretty. Look at this. It's all like flowy and floral and moons and just everything I love. Like, can you guys tell I come up with the ideas? Like, I think it's pretty obvious. But I am absolutely obsessed with this planner as well. This is the much deeper, like the darker planners. So in terms of tones, like dark tones. So this one has the pocket as well, although this pocket is in the front. This has stickers, has everything. All of them have the same stuff, but the art in this one is definitely deeper and darker. So absolutely love if you are someone who prefers like the darker colors, like all the tabs are dark, everything. This one, so beautiful. And again, there's so many pictures, just go look at them. And then finally, the final planner of this launch, and I'm so excited for you guys to see this one as well. This is the tattoo planner, bruh. Obviously, this is the gold, so we have the gold accents, the gold year, and this planner is freaking badass. The artist, Danielle, so Danielle is my tattoo artist. She does a lot of my tattoos. She designed this one, and she fucking killed it. Like, she absolutely killed it. I told her I want to go more of, like, a very obvious, like, tattoo flash sheet type of style, and she killed it, because this is not her tattoo style. Amazingly, like I know it looks like it is, but her style is much more like fine line, like witchy, spooky stuff. So this planner has some contrast to the darker planner because this one is very white inside, so it's very, like I said, tattoo flashy-esque. But I swear to God, you guys gotta go check out the pics because killed it. So I did want to quickly just show you guys the planners for this year. If you're watching this now, they are available. They are available for pre-order this year. So I expect them to ship early to mid-December. And yeah, so by pre-order, I don't mean there are more coming. I just want to make that very clear. Like, pre-order is ordering. So don't, like, if you think like I'm not going to pre-order, I'm just going to wait for the actual launch, like the actual launch isn't coming. Like they're going on pre-order. They are $50 and that includes free shipping. And I'm very excited to let you guys know that I did digital planners this year. So all these designs are also offered in digital planner format. So if you have an iPad, if you prefer to plan digitally, they are optimized for Notability and GoodNotes. So I would definitely recommend using one of those apps because that is what they are optimized for. And they are a direct download. So if you buy it, it'll just directly get sent to your email and then you will have it automatically, you will have it instantly. And the digital planners are $14. So they are on the website as well, $14. But yeah, guys, these are the planners for this year. I really encourage you and ask you to go to the website and look at the pictures because there's so much more in them that I just don't want to bore you with in this video. But like the layouts are better, the prompts, there's so many more prompts. I have manifestation space, I have vision boards, I have so much stuff in these. So please go check out the pics and yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you for always supporting me and I'm so excited about these. All right, so today we're going to be talking about whether or not I think that weight loss or my weight loss or weight loss transformation pictures, whether they constitute as being, you know, fat phobic, whether they fall under the scope of fat phobia. I'm going to preface this by saying I understand this is a heated topic for a lot of people. I understand that there are a lot of opinions in the space around this topic, around obesity, around health, around all that stuff. I'm gonna just say right off the bat, I do not deny the existence of fat phobia. Like I've lived both ways, right? I lived 22, 23 years of my life as a morbidly obese person, and I've lived 5 years as an average size person. I've seen both sides and I know fat phobia exists because I have just seen how differently I am treated. I know people are mistreated because of their size. I know I was mistreated because of my size. I think I lost job opportunities because of my size. I think I went into interviews and was instantly, you know, written off because of what I looked like. For those of you who are unaware with the term fat phobia, it's a term that's been around for decades. It's definitely not new, but it has kind of come back into the limelight in recent years because of social media. The way it has been described is, one, the fear of fat people, but more so than the fear, because I don't think people genuinely fear fat people. More so than the fear is just the discrimination against fat people. So as this term has kind of been brought back into light, it's kind of gotten a little bit controversial because we now have a lot of different people giving their opinions on what constitutes as fat phobic. And one of them that has been mentioned a lot over recent years is weight loss. So a lot of people look at me and my content as problematic because they view weight loss, or intentional weight loss, I should say, as inherently fat phobic because you are purposely changing your body to not be fat anymore. There's been a very loud minority of people claiming that weight loss transformation pictures, everything like that is fat phobic. So obviously I'm going to be talking about my own experiences. I am not talking on behalf of everyone who has lost weight. I do not know how they lost weight. I don't know them. Like this is 100% based on my experiences. So if I say something that sounds like I am representing all the people who lost weight, please just know that is not my intention. So if you've been here a while, or even if you've just been here recently and you've watched a few of my videos, I've tried very, very hard to not demonize or denounce or ridicule who I was before weight loss. I have been very, very vocal about the fact that I think I am the same person, just smaller. I think I was just as kind, just as smart, just as wonderful as I am now as when I was big. So for me, it has always been very important that I do not paint my former self as a bad person, because I was not a bad person. I am the same person, regardless of my size. Like, I've lost a lot of weight and I've become more confident because of it, but like, I have the same values. I have had the same ethics my entire fucking life. Like, weight loss was not gonna change anything about what I thought about anything. So I just want to make that very clear for people watching. Like, you are not watching someone who hates fat people. You are not watching someone who lost weight and now looks at fat people and calls them lazy. However, I think the answer to this question, the answer of is weight loss fat phobic, I think it is highly dependent on who you are asking. So for example, if I think about someone who has the opposite problem that I had growing up, so if I think of someone who struggled with anorexia, you know, someone who had a super restrictive diet, to the point that they were malnourished, that they were not healthy, and they were put in a position where they had to gain weight. Like, they have to gain weight in order to survive. Like, if I think of that person, it's pretty easy to understand why their view is different than mine. To them, intentional weight loss or the hyperfixation on being smaller, on being thinner, has quite literally destroyed their life. And they know it. They know that they are sick. They know that diet culture and all these things have contributed to how they feel about themselves, and they learn to despise it. Like, it makes sense that they learn to despise the very industry that has ruined their life. So to someone like that, I do understand while intentional weight loss can be viewed as problematic, because that person's perspective, weight loss has never been a good thing. Weight loss has always been something they've used against themselves to torture themselves. And for me personally, I kind of feel like this situation or this rhetoric is where the idea that intentional weight loss being fat phobic is born. I think the idea that weight loss is inherently fat phobic has roots in eating disorder discourse. And I think eating disorder discourse is heavily influenced by societal trends and what we as a society have deemed as beautiful, what we have deemed as desirable, and how impactful it was on our society and how impactful it still is. Obviously, the world has existed a lot longer than I have. So all of my experiences are based on when I grew up, and I was a child in the early 2000s. So if you remember the early 2000s, it was not a great time for women and their bodies. It was bad. Like, I have very clear memories. I have memories of reading things ridiculing Nicole Richie for gaining weight. She was thin. I remember movies making jokes that you just don't eat and then you'll be thin. I remember the fucking diet ads on TV. I remember the best and worst dressed lists. I remember in like magazines and tabloids. I remember seeing women with cellulite on the front cover of fucking tabloids, and it's saying like, Britney is fucking disgusting, Christina is disgusting, like all this terrible, terrible shit about women and their bodies in the early 2000s. The early 2000s, I don't think anyone can deny, the early 2000s really projected the idea that thinness meant more valuable. That if you were thin, you were more beautiful. If you were thin, you deserved more, you deserved love, you deserved attention. But anyway, since this message was projected, especially for us, like especially if you were a child, it was projected so heavily onto us that I think we all just grew up and did not outgrow that way of thinking. All of the kids who grew up in that generation and, you know, developed some sort of restrictive eating disorder because of it are now adults, and we have been given this platform, social media, to talk about our experiences. And unfortunately, it has come to light how many people struggled during those times. We are the major demographic on social media. We are the ones who, you know, are able to make videos and be like, hey, listen, this fucking thinness shit, this idea of being super thin ruined my life. We see people all the time coming out and saying this idea ruined my life. Weight loss ruined my life. This was an era that told average size women who did not need to lose weight, that they needed to lose weight, right? So we're talking about people who are already 130 pounds, women who were 5'5", 130 pounds, wanting to be 90 pounds because they thought that's what they needed to be. And this, for me, is diet culture. This was diet culture. The idea that you have to be thin to be beautiful. You have to look this way to look good. You have to be this size to shop here. Like, that shit was so normal. Plus size stores did not exist. Plus size collections did not exist. You could go into, oh my God, like Mean Girls. Like, it's so evident, pop culture from that time, how bad it was to be overweight. Like Mean Girls, 135. Remember the store 135 in Mean Girls? And she's like, oh, we only carry up to size fucking 5. Go to Sears. Go get something from Sears. All right, so after my little rant there, after me kind of explaining where I think this idea that weight loss is fat phobic stems from and why it still exists, there's still the question, do I think my weight loss is fat phobic? This probably won't surprise a lot of you, but my answer is no. I do not think my weight loss is inherently fat phobic. Like I mentioned, I think the early 2000s catapulted anorexia and bulimia into the forefront of eating disorder discourse. I think the early 2000s really solidified and really drilled into our brains what anorexia and what bulimia are, because while all these terrible things were happening, all this messaging was occurring telling women to be smaller, all this stuff, while that was happening, there was the other side being like, hey, this is really fucked up. Like, this is causing people to have anorexia, this is causing people to have bulimia, and like these two eating disorders kind of took over the conversation in terms of what that type of media presence was doing to the eating habits of youth. So for me, growing up, I didn't even know other eating disorders existed. I thought it was anorexia and bulimia. And I did not realize others existed until I got one. Like, that's how little I knew about binge eating, how little I knew about anything. And like, unfortunately, I feel like it's the same. Like, people who have not struggled with binge eating do not know binge eating exists, do not realize that binge eating is categorically an eating disorder. that it's not being lazy, that it's not just not having self-control, that it is an eating disorder. A lot of people cannot separate weight loss from diet culture because they were raised to believe that they needed to lose weight to be valuable. And like, I do not blame anyone for that. If you live your entire life trying to lose weight, feeling like you are inadequate and not worthy of anything because you can't lose weight, I understand why you are now on social media trying to be like, you don't need to lose weight. You don't need to lose weight. You are beautiful the way you are. I get it. But the reason I don't think my weight loss is fatphobic is because just like people with anorexia, just like we tell them you need to gain weight to be healthy. You need to gain weight to be healthy if you are not eating. Just like we say that, I think it's the same thing for me, just reversed. I needed to lose weight to be healthy. The media has told us, the media has equated eating disorders with eating too little. But what about the people who eat too much? I've said this before and I stand by it. I did not get to the size I was by having a healthy relationship with food. I did not. I was stage 3 morbidly obese. Like, you do not get to that size by eating normal amounts of food. By me being that size, I think it's very clear that I had issues with food. Whether or not people put it together that it was an eating disorder, like whatever, like I very obviously had issues with food. Something I think a lot of people forget when we have this conversation about eating disorders and whether weight loss promotes eating disorders or whatever is that, like, for some people, weight loss is the result of recovery. Like for me, weight loss was the result of me acknowledging I was addicted to food and needing to change it. Weight gain is necessary for people with restrictive eating disorders, but what about people with non-restrictive eating disorders? And I think that's something a lot of people just have trouble grasping, is that you can eat too much. You can. And you can push your body to a limit where the amount of food you are eating is making you sick. Me being overweight was a direct result of me abusing my body with food. Eating 6,000 calories a day is not fucking normal. It is not normal. Ordering a large pizza for dinner every night after already consuming 4,000 calories that day is not normal. And that's the reason I even make content, is for people who were like me, who I was eating that stuff thinking that's just who I was, thinking that's just how I am. I'm just a big girl. I was on Tumblr in 2013. I was there and big. I was overweight during what I consider to be the boom of the fat acceptance movement, you know, like where it kind of grew from. Like I was very involved in that. They told me if I lose weight, I am betraying myself. If I lose weight, it simply makes me a part of the problem. I realize now that if I did not leave that space, like who fucking knows where I'd be right now. I was already pre-diabetic. I would probably be full-blown diabetic right now for something that was completely preventable, like completely preventable. I literally reversed my pre-diabetes in 3 months. Like I know a lot of people who've lost weight, like my boyfriend, my friends, like all of us have lost massive amounts of weight. And we all say the same thing, that like food was making us miserable, that food was controlling our life, that we felt trapped. Like, is it really that hard to believe that like our lives were significantly harder being the size we were? It's so easy to understand why people would want to lose weight. I feel like a lot of this rhetoric or a lot of this conversation is coming from people who have not lived morbidly obese. And like, I get it. Like, I get people are defending people. Like, I get the intention. I get the intention is that everyone's beautiful. No one needs to change. Like, I get it. Like, I get that the intention is pure, but like, I don't think it's a good narrative to push when people like me exist, when people who genuinely did need to lose weight to be healthy, to not fucking die. I don't know, I just think it's kind of funny. Like, not funny, but I think it's interesting that people don't want to admit that fat people can have a problem, that overweight people can be eating too much, that it can be an issue. Because like, I feel like by saying that, by being like, oh no, they're fine. Like, I feel like by saying that, like you are doing a disservice to overweight people. I feel like you are feeding the narrative that fat people can't have problems, that fat people are simply fat because they are fucking lazy, because they are unmotivated, because they're gross, all this shit, which like I do not fuck with. I was morbidly obese. The highest class of morbid obesity that you can reach, I was never lazy. I was never gross. I'm like, what's the alternative here? Like, either we have to admit that people need to lose weight because of eating disorders, or we just look at overweight people and say they are like that and it's their own fucking fault. But anyway, I feel like I've gone on about that forever. So I'm gonna talk about specifically my transformation pictures, because this is something people talk about a lot, is whether or not transformation pictures showing me big then small or smaller, whether or not that is problematic. So right off the bat, here's the thing, like I get both sides. Like I feel like I've conveyed that. Like, I get where people are coming from. I just feel like we went too far to the point where it's like we want to accept everyone so badly that we cannot admit that they do have problems. So this is going to be a bit of a hot take, and I am not trying to upset anyone with this at all, just so we know. Like, if this comes off as super evil, like, that is not the intention at all. Because, like, I get it. Like, I get that transformation pictures are triggering to some people. I get that if you spent your whole life, you know, trying to lose weight, I get it. I understand to some people transformation pictures are triggering. And this is where the hot take comes in, and it's just like, I as an individual, I cannot be responsible for your triggers. Like, I cannot be responsible for the triggers of thousands of people I do not know. I have triggers myself. I had an eating disorder myself. There are things that I cannot do. I could not watch TV while losing weight because I knew seeing a commercial with fucking pizza was gonna put me over the edge. I understand triggers. I have triggers, I get it, but we will never get to the point where we can control everyone's triggers and live a life that abides by everyone's triggers, because everyone's triggers are different. Like, someone's trigger seeing a transformation picture, a weight loss transformation picture, is just someone else's trigger seeing a weight gain picture. Triggers are not your fault. Triggers are no one's fault. But unfortunately, it is our responsibility to learn to live with them. So I do sympathize and understand why some people view transformation pictures, weight loss transformation pictures, as triggering. I do get it. I understand. But my response to that is, like, for every one person triggered by my weight loss transformation pictures, like, there are thousands of people who are inspired. And, like, that's not me being cocky. Like, it really isn't. For every person who looks at my transformation picture and has, like, not a great reaction to it, there are dozens and dozens of people who see that and say, if that bitch could do that, I can do that. The intention has never been to trigger people, ever. They have always been for people to see them, see me before, and say, I relate to this girl. I understand what she went through. I know what she's talking about. When she talks about binge eating, I get it. When she talks about food addiction, I get it. Like, my pictures are for them. And I just wish people understood that my transformation picture is showcasing recovery, just like a picture of weight gain. But like I said, and what I've said this whole time, is I get it. Because we have been taught, we have been conditioned to think that there is one sort of struggle when it comes to food, and that is not eating enough. And the people who eat too much, the people like me, people who have trouble eating too much, have been ignored. And just so we're clear, again, I'm bringing this up again, not to be annoying, but, like, I know this is my experience. I am not sitting here saying all transformation pictures are used with fair or, you know, good intentions. I am very aware. I have been in the weight loss space for 6 years now, the online weight loss space. The weight loss industry is probably the most predatory industry in the world. I am very aware. I know people use weight loss pictures to sell terrible things, terrible diet programs. I know people use transformation pictures to push fatphobic rhetoric. I know. So I would never deny that. I'm not sitting here saying transformation pictures are the best, but I am sitting here defending my own fucking transformation pictures. All I know is that losing weight saved my fucking life, and I've been asked so many times, to talk about health at every size, and I never have. I've never had the desire to. If I'm being completely honest, I don't feel qualified. But I will talk about it in the context of my own life, the context of my own journey, how I was when I was overweight. So health at every size, if you didn't know, it's just a movement saying that you can be healthy at any size. Limit does not exist, any fucking size. I'm not gonna talk on anyone's life. I don't know people. I would never look at someone and try to guess their health status. It's not my shit, so I'm not even gonna do that. But I'm gonna talk about my own life. So when I was overweight, I was not healthy. I was nowhere close to being healthy. I was 22. I had to stop, you know, halfway up a flight of stairs because I could not make it the whole way. Like I mentioned, was pre-diabetic. I had no family history of diabetes. It was completely self-inflicted from food. So for me to apply health at every size to my life in the context of my life, no, it does not exist. But with saying that, and I think this perspective comes in because I was an overweight person and I know what it's like to be overweight. I don't use health as a determinant to decide how I treat someone. It doesn't matter if you're healthy, in my opinion. Like, health at every size, I feel like what they want is they just want to be treated fairly. And, like, I get it because I was big. And while I don't necessarily agree that you can be certain sizes and be healthy, because I was not, I agree that, you know, people should not be mistreated based on their health. Like, since when do we use health as a determinant to decide who deserves respect? Like, it's literally mind-boggling to me. I feel like we all are very aware that smoking can cause lung cancer, and are any of us going up to people with fucking lung cancer saying they deserve it and that we're not respecting them because they're no longer healthy and that they don't deserve to feel loved or feel value or feel any sort of like positive fucking feeling towards themselves because they smoked? The fuck? So guys, I guess that kind of just like wraps it up. Like, at the end of the day, I would never say fat phobia does not exist. It exists. I know it exists. Unfortunately, I don't think you can deny it exists. It is a very complicated situation. The weight loss space in general is very complicated because you have people like me or people who I know who genuinely just want to talk about our experiences and want to encourage people if they want to. I've never wanted to come on here and make people feel bad about themselves. I've always wanted to be a positive influence for people, and I've tried my best. I understand that people have triggers. I understand that people are going to be dedicated to misunderstanding what I'm talking about because they just do not want to admit that I did have problems while overweight, which is like the most hilarious shit. I do not want people to feel bad about themselves. I want people to fucking feel understood. I want people to feel like there is someone they can relate to. When I started doing this shit like 5 years ago, all my comments used to say I did not know binge eating was a thing. I did not know binge eating had a categorized disorder, binge eating disorder. And I'm not sitting here, you know, saying I'm the fucking goddamn messiah spreading information to everyone. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I wish people would understand that my content, it can help people. It is not only toxic. There is a reason people watch my content, and it's because it makes them feel better, not worse. And I just wish we could get to a point where we can demonize diet culture and, you know, the agenda it pushes in terms of telling women that they need to be as absolute thin as possible. I wish we could learn to separate that from people who are like me or who were like me, who genuinely knew they had issues and were just afraid and just didn't know how to lose weight and just wish they had the resources there available to do it. The reason I lost weight is because I was pre-diabetic at 22. I was fucking up my body. I saw for the first time that the actions I was taking, the food I was eating, had an actual impact on my health, and that shit did not sit well with me. I said, what the hell? What the fuck? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It was a long one. I'm sorry. I got into it. It was pretty long, but I'm very, very interested to read your guys' comments down below. Please, if you feel angry at me, please know that was not the intention. Like, I don't know. Who knows? I know this is a complicated subject. I know people are not going to agree, and that is completely okay. We do not have to agree, but I hope you know, like, the intention is to defend people like me who genuinely had eating issues and are being told that their issues should be ignored, you know, under the guise of fucking like body positivity. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget about the planners. Don't forget about the planners.